All right, so today we're tackling something I think everyone cringes at a little bit: behavioral interview questions. You know, those tell me about a time when scenarios that can really make or break your chances? We're going deep on this with insights from CareerBits. They've got some seriously good advice on how to handle these.
And what's interesting is these questions aren't about trying to trip you up. It's really about getting past just the bullet points on your resume. They want to
Yeah.
see the you behind those achievements, how you actually operate in the real world.
Yeah, it's like they want to see the movie, not just read the poster. See how those skills actually translated into action. CareerVids points out just how common these describe a time when questions really are. So where do we even begin with tackling these?
Well, think of it this way. They're looking for evidence, not just claims like, I'm a great problem solver, but concrete examples of how you've actually handled challenges, worked with others, met those deadlines, all that good stuff. And that's where the STAR method comes into play. It's like building your case for why you're the perfect fit.
Okay, the STAR method, the video breaks it down as situation, task, action, result. But it's more than just remembering the acronym.
Oh, absolutely. It's about structuring your answer like a mini story that's really going to draw them in. You set the scene, explain what your role was, detail the specific actions you took, and then this is key, you connect it directly to the positive outcome.
So it's not just what you did, but the impact it had. Showcasing those wins. I love that CareerVids gives actual examples for like 5 super common behavioral questions. I think it'd be helpful to walk through some of those.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
All right, let's do it.
So the first one is a classic. Describe a time you faced a challenging situation at work. And it's intentionally broad. They want to see what you consider challenging.
And how you approach it, of course. Their example uses 2 team members butting heads, which, let's be honest, we've all experienced that at some point. It's practically a rite of passage in any workplace.
Pretty much.
So how does their example tackle this?
So instead of like gossiping or letting it fester, the interviewee takes initiative to actually mediate the situation. Now, they don't have a formal leadership role, but they see the impact it's having on the team's performance, and they decide to step up anyway.
See, that right there already shows leadership without needing the fancy title. So they get everyone talking. But did it work? What was the outcome?
That's the best part. It did work. The example highlights how through facilitated conversations, these team members were able to find some common ground. They start collaborating again, and ultimately the whole team benefited. It's a win-win.
It's like turning that negative into a positive. Any employer would love to see that kind of initiative. Okay, so on to the next challenge. Describe a time you had to work as part of a team. I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, right? But how do you really make that shine in an interview?
Right. Well, their example focuses on a team that's tasked with saving the company money, which I think is a pretty universally relevant goal. And the interviewee talks about suggesting this new ordering system that reduces waste. They also found ways to cancel unnecessary subscriptions, even negotiated better rates with suppliers, showing that initiative and really keeping an eye on the bottom line.
It's highlighting both their individual contribution and how it all came together as a team. Like, I'm a team player and here's the proof. Okay, things are getting interesting. What's the next scenario they cover?
Get ready for the pressure cooker. Describe a time you had to meet a tight deadline.
Ooh, the dreaded deadline. Those can make or break you for sure, especially when unexpected roadblocks pop up. What does their example throw at us?
So picture this. You're already on a tight deadline for a project and suddenly 2 team members call in sick.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire. So do you just panic and hope for the best?
That's what's great about this example, they don't. Instead of panicking, the interviewee immediately calls a team huddle.
Smart move. Don't just freeze. Gotta take action. What do they do next?
They revisit the entire project scope, redistribute tasks based on everyone's strength, and even consider outsourcing certain aspects to speed things up. It's about staying calm under pressure and finding creative solutions as a team.
And the million-dollar question, did they meet the deadline?
They did. By acting swiftly, thinking outside the box, and working together, they delivered on time, proving their adaptability, resilience, that get-it-done attitude employers love.
Those are the kind of stories that make you stand out. Okay, 2 more to go. Hit me with the next CareerVids challenge.
All right, this one can be a bit tricky. Describe a time you had to deal with a difficult colleague or customer. Because let's face it, not everyone we work with is a dream.
Oh, I've been there. Sometimes it feels like you're navigating a minefield, especially when communication styles clash. How does their example approach this kind of delicate situation?
Okay, so not every colleague is going to be your work bestie.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it has to turn toxic.
Yeah.
How does the career vids example navigate this?
So in their example, it's actually a senior team member who consistently shoots down the interviewee's ideas in meetings.
Oof.
Yeah.
I can imagine that feeling when you're trying to contribute and it just hits a brick wall every time.
Exactly.
So do they just suck it up or like fire back with equal force?
Neither. They actually demonstrate a lot of emotional intelligence by choosing to address it, but they do it calmly and professionally. They request a private conversation with a colleague after the meeting, explaining that they're eager to contribute, but feeling kind of dismissed. That takes guts, though. I feel like so many people would just let it slide. But this direct yet respectful approach sounds key. What was the outcome?
And that's the amazing part. By actually addressing it head on in a calm and assertive way, the interviewee was able to totally turn the situation around.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the colleague actually apologized, and they ended up building a stronger working relationship.
Wow.
Talk about turning a negative into a positive.
Proof that clear communication can really work wonders, even in those potentially tense situations. Okay, one last question to tackle from their lineup.
Okay,
Hit me with it.
this one makes people squirm a little bit. Describe a time you made a mistake at work. Because no one really likes to air their dirty laundry, right?
Right, of course. But it's all about how you frame it. We're all human. Mistakes happen. The key is showing that you learn and grow from them. So what's the example they used?
So this one involves an employee who volunteers to cover for a colleague who's on vacation.
Okay, sounds like a nice gesture, wanting to be helpful and a team player.
Exactly.
But I'm sensing there's a but coming.
There is a but.
Okay.
The but is that they didn't fully assess the workload and priorities before saying yes.
The classic overcommitment trap. I've been there. So what happened? Did everything crash and burn?
Not a complete disaster, but they did end up getting a little bit behind on their own tasks because they took on too much. The key here is that they own the mistake. They emphasize what they learned from it.
That's huge. Taking responsibility instead of pointing fingers. What was the takeaway for them?
They realized just how important careful planning and assessment are before taking on any extra work, even with the best intentions. It's about finding that balance between being a team player and not letting your own work slip through the cracks.
Which ultimately makes you a more reliable and effective employee in the long run, right?
Exactly.
I love these examples. They really bring the STAR method to life. You're not just saying, I'm a problem solver anymore. You're painting a picture with your words.
Exactly. And the more you practice framing your experiences this way, the more natural and compelling your storytelling becomes.
It's like you're building a highlight reel of your career wins, but tailored to that specific role and company that you're interviewing with.
Precisely. And the Career Vids video even encourages viewers to actually download this guide they have with 100 example answers
For
and
you,
more inspiration.
100 examples. That's like a master class in interview prep. But it's not about like memorizing those answers verbatim, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay.
It's about internalizing the STAR method as a framework,
Right.
so that you can confidently adapt it to your own experiences, no matter what curveball questions they throw your way.
It's like having that mental toolkit you mentioned earlier. Those core principles become your secret weapon.
Exactly. The more you practice, the more confident you become in your ability to handle any interview question that comes your way.
Confidence is key. When you know your worth and you've got those stories kind of prepped and ready to go, it changes your whole demeanor.
Absolutely. You radiate that, I've got this energy, which is so powerful in an interview.
It's like you said earlier, it's not just about them interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. So go in prepared, be confident, but don't be afraid to ask questions and see if it's really the right fit for you.
Exactly. It's about finding that mutual match.
All right, so we've covered a ton of ground here today. The dreaded describe a time when questions. The STAR method as our storytelling framework. Even where to find 100 example answers to get those creative juices flowing.
We talked about the importance of confidence preparation and adaptability and how to really showcase those qualities effectively in an interview setting.
It's so easy to get caught up in like wanting the job and everything that we forget we have a choice too. You know, we're bringing our own skills and experience to the table. It needs to be a good fit for both sides.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street. You want to find that sweet spot where both you and the company are excited about the possibilities.
Exactly.
So yeah, go in prepared, be confident, but don't be afraid to ask questions. See if their culture and values really align with what you're looking for too.
It's like dating, you know,
Right.
both sides got to be feeling it for it to work long term.
Well, there you have it. Our crash course in acing those behavioral interview questions with a little help from Career Vids. We unpacked the STAR method, tackled some of those tricky questions, Hopefully you're feeling ready to rock that next interview.
Remember, it's all about showcasing the best version of you. Your experience, your skills, your potential. Let those shine through, and you've got this. I love that. Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, why not pass it along to a friend who's on the job hunt too? Sharing is caring after all. Until next time, happy interviewing.